day to each and everyone. By the way, I'm Miss Stephanie Magbanwa and together with my group mates, Miss Marie Sinconiaga, Mr. Shane Philip Sangüenza, and Mr. Togdang, we are here to discuss about Lesson 7, The Rebirth of Freedom in 1898 to 1941. This discussion has specific learning outcomes which are: first is to be able to appreciate the history behind the rebirth of freedom. Second, we have to explain the state of literature during the period. And third and last is to distinguish the literary writers and masterpieces of the period. But before we go deeper beyond the discussion of the said topic, first let's all have a motivation. So, our motivation for today's discussion is instructions. Form a four group and arrange a puzzle picture, which is the Fernando Amorzalo's painting, the making of Philippine flag, and on a one-half sheet of paper, write and tell us about the significance behind the rebirth of Philippine independence. Okay, let's move on to the discussion. So, the history of the rebirth of freedom is that in 1945, the Americans returned and Filipinos rejoiced, and guerrillas who fled to the mountains joined the liberating American army. And on July 4, 1946, the Philippines regained its freedom and the Filipino flag waved joyously alone. And this was the declaration of the chains were broken during this time. And the state of literature during this period was: the early post-liberation period was marked by a kind of struggle of mind and spirit, posed by a sudden emancipation from the enemy and the wild desire to see print. Filipinos had by this time learned to express themselves more confidently, but post-war problems beyond language and print like economic stability, the threat of new ideas and morality had to be grappled with side by side. There was a proliferation of newspapers like the Free Press, Morning Sun of Sergio Osmeña, Daily News of Manuel Rojas, Manila Times and Daily Mirror of Joaquin Rosas, Evening News of Ramon Rosas, Philippine Herald of Soriano, Chronicle of De Lopez, and the Bulletin of Menzi. This only proved that there were more readers in English than in any other vernaculars like Tagalog, Ilocano, and Hiligaynon. During this period, journalists had their day. They indulged in more militant attitude in their reportings, which bordered on the libellous. And gradually, as normality was restored, the tones and themes of the writings turned to the less pressing problems of economic survival. And some Filipino writers who had gone abroad and had written during their interms came back to publish their works, and not all the books published during the period reflected the war years. Some were compilations or second editions of what had been written before. Some writers had their works of the period are: first, The Voice of the Veteran, which is a compilation of the best works of some ex-USAFFE men like Amante Bigornia, Roman de la Cruz, Ramon de Jesus, and J.F. Rodriguez. Twilight in Tokyo, and Passion and Death of the USAFFE by Leon Maria Guerrero. For Freedom and Democracy by S.P. Lopez. Betrayal in the Philippines by Hernando Abaya. And Seven Hills Away by N.V.M. Gonzalez.
Hi guys, good day, and especially to you, Sir Don, good day. Today I'm going to report the poetry in English during this period, and novels and short stories in English. So, during this period, poetry in English in the Philippines was characterized by diverse range of themes, styles, and influence. The work of Manuel Beray, Maximo Ramos, Valentino Baleros, Nick Joaquin, 3D at Galeao, Amador Daguillo, Artemio Patacsil, Silverio Baltasar, and V.M. Gonzalez, and Conrado B. Pedroche reflected the social, cultural, and political landscape of the time. The poets explore national identity, history, social issues, and the human experience through their poetry. They also incorporated elements of Filipino culture, traditions, and folklore into their works. The poetry of this period also showcased a variety of forms and techniques, from traditional and formal poetry to modern and experimental styles. Some poets such as N.B.M. Gonzalez and Conrado B. Pedroche focus on themes of courage, resilience, and the human spirits, while others like Manuel Biray, Maximo Ramos, and Florentino Baleros delved into the beauty and complexity of the Philippine islands and landscape. Overall, the poetry in English during this period simplified the rich literary tradition and cultural heritage of the Philippines, while also reflecting the country's history and society. The works of these poets continue to be studied and celebrated for their contributions to the Philippine literature. So next, the novels and short stories in English. So during this period, there was a growing trend of Filipino writers producing longer pieces of work, such as novels and extended short stories. The Barangay Writers Project was established in 1946 with a goal of publishing English works of Filipino authors, further promoting the production of literature in English. Additionally, organizations such as the PEN Center of the Philippines were inaugurated to support and recognize the work of Filipino writers in English. One notable example of this trend is Esteban Havilan's novel Without Saying the Gun, which depicts the harsh realities of war during the Japanese occupation. Francisco Arcilana also made significant contributions to the development of Filipino literature in English, particularly with his entomology of short stories. Individual writers such as Luis B. Teodoro Jr. also received recognition for their short stories during this time, winning prestigious awards such as the Philippines Free Press Short Story Award and the Palanca Memorial Awards of Literature. Overall, this period marks a significant shift towards the production and recognition of novels and short stories in English by Filipino authors. So that's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Shane Philip Sangüenza and this will be the continuation of Maricing Coniegue's report. So, the new Filipino literature during the period. Philippine literature in Tagalog was revived during this period. Most themes in the writings dealt with Japanese brutalities of the poverty of life under the Japanese government and the brave guerrilla exploits. So as you can see over here, the statement refers to a historical period when Philippine literature in Tagalog experienced a resurgence. During this time, writers focused on themes depicting the harsh realities of under Japanese rule, highlighting the brutality and poverty experienced by the people. The literary works also portrayed the courage and exploits of guerrilla fighters resisting the Japanese occupation in the Philippines. So, newspapers and magazines. Newspapers and magazines were reopened like the Bulaklak, Liwayway, Ilang-Ilang, and Sinagtala. Tagalog poetry not only acquired rhyme but substance and meaning. Short stories had better characters and events based on facts and realities, and themes were more meaningful. Novels became common where they still read by people for recreation. The people love listening to poetic joys increased more than before, and people started to fall back to places to hear poetic debates. So during cultural revival, the Filipinos' literature transformed significantly. Then newspapers like Bulaklak, Liwayway, Ilang-Ilang, and Sinagtala were revitalized. Tagalog poetry evolved beyond rhyme, emphasizing substance, short stories featured realistic characters and meaningful themes. The novels, now common, remain a source of recreation. Then the resurgence saw a renewed interest in poetic debates, reflecting a heightened appreciation literature, blending traditions with contemporary touch. So I think that's all for my report. I will now give the next. Let's hear from the next reporter. Thank you.
So, in continuation with our report, the Planca Awards. The Planca Awards are a set of literary awards for the Philippine writers, usually referred to as the Pulitzer Prize of the Philippines. It is the country's highest literary honor in terms of prestige. The Planca Award aims to develop a Philippine literature by providing incentives for writers to craft their most outstanding literary works by being a treasury of the Philippines' literary gems from our gifted writers, and by assisting in their eventual dissemination to our people. So, how do you win the Planca Awards? So, there are two categories in the Planca Awards. First, in the essay or sanaysay categories, an entry should be at least 10 but not more than 25 typewritten pages. The category is open only to informal essay. So the second is in the poetry or tula category. An entry must consist of a collection of at least 10 but not more than 15 poems. So in the 1951 winners, the first recipient of the award were divided into two categories, open only to English and Filipino short story. So in the English division, the first prize winner is Juan T. Gatbonton, and his piece is called Clay. The second prize winner is Francisco Arlesiana, and his piece is called The Flowers of May. And the third prize winner is Edith El Tiempo, and her piece is The Black Monkey. In the Filipino division, the first prize winner is Genoveva Edroza Matute, and her piece is Kwento ni Mabuti. The second prize winner is Pedro S. Dandan, and his piece is Mabangis na Kamay, Maamong Kamay. And lastly, the third prize winner is Elpedio P. Capulong, and his piece is Planeta, Buwan at Mga Bituin. So, that's the end of our report. I hope you enjoy listening to us as much as we enjoy reporting our topics. So, after our report, we are assigned by Sir Donald to give an activities or exercises and then assignment. In the activities or exercises, instruction. Select one of the following writers during the rebirth of freedom period. The names are given on the screen. Then give a short biography of the writer whom you select and write it on a half sheet of paper. On their biography, make sure that you include a brief description about their works, writings, and awards. And then, for the assignment, complete the statement by filling in the blanks with the correct words. So that would be all. Thank you.